us progress further. So the next one is restricting and sorting data. So in the table, you have a total dump of different data, but if you want to filter it out for a specific record or specific set of records, you do a filtering, which is known as the restricting. And then you want to sort based on some condition, then you do a sorting as well. So for example, yeah, I think we just touched upon this earlier as well. So suppose if you want to find out here in this case, if you want to restrict only based on whoever is the employees of department ID 90, then you can retrieve the data accordingly. In earlier example, I remember seeing something like 105 or 106, whoever is the employee, you can retrieve the data. So that is where the where clause is just used. Where clause, where logical, this is the syntax. The where clause from the, the where clause follows the from clause from the table where you have a logical condition. So here it is employee ID equal to 90, or department ID is 90, or employee ID is equal to, if we say 100 instead of department ID, if it is employee ID 100, then you are going to get only the record which is related to King. You will not get any other detail because employee ID is unique. It's a primary key for that table. It is unique for that table. You cannot have multiple employee IDs. The same employee ID for multiple employees. So you're going to get, if you're instead of department ID, if you're going to get employee ID, you'll get a single row. Similarly, if it is a department table where department ID is 90, in the case of a department table, you will get only one entry there, because department ID will be a primary key. In that table, you will get only one entry. So you can use these operators, all these operators within the where class whenever you want to have whoever is having salary greater than or salary less than, all this you can use. And more importantly, between, in, like, is null or is not null. This will be quite useful in the SQLs. Between, in, like, is null. We'll see that. We'll take an example and see that. So stay tuned. Thank you. Let's quickly look at the functionalities behind the last three operators, between, in, and like. So between is between two set of values. You want to have all the details, then you use between operator. The salary between 2,500 and 3,500. Then you retrieve all the details related to that. This is the lower limit between the two values. So that's the between operator. And then you have in operator. In you have a set of values, 100, 101 and 201. Those are the the manager IDs, 101, 100, 101 and 201. So whoever is the employees who have the manager ID as this one, that is 100, 101 and 102 or 201, then we are retrieving all the rows. So in a specific set of values, whichever satisfies in that specific set of values, it retrieves all the rows related to that. So that's the in operator. Like is a wildcard operator. Whoever name starts with name yes, like. So this is how this is called a wildcard character, which it could be anything. Yes followed by anything. It could be H, Stephen or Shelley. So whatever it is, so it needs to retrieve. So like operator, which starts with a particular value or a character, then followed by this symbol, then it is called the wildcard character. So that is for the like operator, pattern matching using the like operator. Similarly, combining wildcard, so we could use that as well. Is null. Again, null condition, if there is something you want to retrieve all the rows which doesn't have an employee ID at all, then you can use the null operator, is null. So that's about the wildcard, like operators, in and between. So between we saw, then in a specific set of condition retrieve all the values, and then the like operator, and finally is null. So we'll get into the logical operators in the next presentation. Thank you. Next one is the logical operators, which again can be used in the where clause. The and is something like both needs to be it needs to be true. Both the condition needs to be set. Say for example, if it is something like department ID 60 and department ID 90, so whoever is the employees who satisfies those conditions, then it returns the AND condition, meaning in a nutshell, yeah, both the conditions needs to be met, then it is true. R is either one of them, it needs to be true, then it is R. Not is true if the condition is false. Returns true if the condition is false. So the AND operator, the salary greater than 10,000 and job ID like MAN is the job ID, salesman or marketing man is the job ID, and salary needs to be greater than 10,000. So only condition, these two conditions are met, it is going to retrieve the employee ID, last name, job ID, salary. So these two conditions needs to be true only. And if you look at this, you have salary about 10,000, yes. Job ID, you have a wildcard over here. So whether you have a job ID which has man in it, yes, you have SA man and MK man. So both the conditions are met for the two rows, so it retrieves that value. Not, so whoever is not an IT programmer, ST clerk or SA, that is going to get retrieved, all that. So if you look at it, there is no IT programmer, there is no ST clerk, there is no SA rep. The rest of them get retrieved in this one, not operator. So that's about the OR operator. And similarly, instead of AND, you could have an R here. So which means if either of them is satisfied, salary is greater than 10,000, then also it is going to retrieve. Or if it is job ID more like man, that also gets retrieved. Which means if there is an employee who has salary greater than 10,000, but still if his job ID is not something similar to man, that gets retrieved also when the condition is R instead of AND. So that's about the R. Either one needs to get satisfied. In case of AND, both needs to be satisfied. So that's the AND operator, OR operator, and this one is the NOR operator. So that's about the logical operator. We'll see the precedence in the subsequent presentation. Thank you. Stay tuned. Let's now do some hands-on. Let's, you can just, of course, between operator. So between that specific salary, last name, salary, where salary between 2,500 to 3,500, it retrieves all the employees with that. The next one is the in operator, whoever as the manager ID, an employee can have, a manager can have multiple employees. So in that case, whoever the manager ID is 100, 101 and 200. See, if you look at 100, for a single manager, you have multiple employees. So that's what it has retrieved. And similarly, you'll find 101 and you'll find 201 as well. You don't find any other employee whose manager ID is different. So if it is only falling in 100, 101 and 201, then it retrieves that specific value. So the next one is the wildcard. We'll see the wildcard as well. So the wildcard, so where the first name should be something like yes star, think where first name so all this starting with yes, it retrieved those value which is starting with retrieve. So that's about the in operator, between operator, like operator. There is null operator. You can always look at it and practice yourself. So that will make you much more knowledgeable on the SQL as well.